Hello everyone, it's Kyle Black, and this weekend while putting the AI together for VAM Empire, I came across a good opportunity to go over why using static typing in GDScript is important, even though it's not something that is required. When I went to add the ability to fire the weapon using the AI on our ship, which calls the weapon, which calls an additional function inside of the weapon script, I ran into an issue. You'll see the first thing I did here is I went to call fire weapons, and it immediately threw a quick little error, said too few arguments. So I dug in just a real quick bit without thinking too much about it, and I looked and I said, oh, it requires parent velocity. So I came back and I just absent-mindedly typed in a float 1.0. That's a velocity, right? So I fired up the game, loaded in, and I went flying out to the little AI ships I have out here that are supposed to fire me. And boom, it failed. With sort of a obscure failure message. Non-existent function and base float. And I had to sit here and think for a minute. And I realized that if it had been a vector 2 in the weapon function, I might have gotten a different failure. Let's see what happens. Adding vector 2 to that lower function. Still load in, things still work when I get in here. Ship spins, goes to shoot, and we crash again. But this time, it at least tells me that it can't convert float to vector 2. So let's add vector 2 to also the next function up, the fire function. See what type of message we get here. Note again, it's still letting me load into the world. So if I were maybe not to encounter this, it might not crash for a while. Yet again, or finally, I add vector 2 to the uppermost function. If I can type it right. There we go. Now, boom, it fails before we even get in. So if I were to maybe not run into an AI or whatever, it still failed immediately. We failed faster. So we didn't discover this bug weeks down the line when someone ran into an AI or something. So then I created sort of a placeholder variable for now, and I just made it a vector2 0 so that at least we can work with something. But at some point we'll probably actually change this to represent the real velocity of the ship once I add flight and things like that in. Now you'll see when I load in, now that I'm using a vector 2, ship will actually shoot, and it worked. But it will save you time if you fail immediately because you're passing in the wrong kind of variable. That's just an important lesson that even I just learned again. And I've done this in other languages, but GDScript doesn't enforce this a whole lot. One of the other benefits of static typing, or coming up with even your own class names like ship and player, is it allows you to do things like get the sort of autocomplete for custom functions. As you can see here, like I can call the fire attached weapons or fire mining lasers off the player class. I'll put more information in the video here so you can get to the link on static typing and read up on it and see all the other benefits. But I just figured this was a good opportunity to go over why this was useful, and I hope you found it useful too.